Hello everyone, my name is Jigdesh. In 6th semester, the nuclear physics chapter, so we have to study about the alpha decay in this session. So first we have to know what is alpha particles. In radioactivity phenomena, while studying the radioactivity phenomena, the three rays are emitted, that is the alpha rays, beta rays and gamma rays. So in that, the alpha rays are found to be the positively charged particles, beta rays are negatively charged particles and gamma rays are neutral. Here, at that time they studied about the alpha particles and how the alpha particles are emitted and what is the nature of the alpha rays. In such case, they found that the alpha rays are doubly ionized helium atom, so which has the mass number 4 and atomic number 2. Here the mass number 4 means it is the nucleon's mass. Nucleons means here it is the sum of the protons and the neutron. So together we are called as the nucleon number. It is nothing but mass number. So in helium atom there are the 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So that's why we have taken this as a mass number is 4 and atomic number is 2. It means that the proton number is 2. Here, so we have to study some of the important properties of the alpha rays. The alpha particle is a helium nucleus, consists of 2 protons and the 2 neutrons, and it carries the 2 units of positive charge. And here its velocity varies from 1.4 into 10 to the power of 7 meter per second to 1.92 into 10 to the power of 7 meter per second. So which is about 1/16th of the velocity of light. Here the velocity is not a constant for the alpha rays. It varies from that value, that is 1.4 to 1.92 into 10 to the power of 7 meter per second. Its speed is not equal to the velocity of a light, but it's 1/16th less of speed of a light. The alpha rays, so it can produce the ionization when it passes through the gas. So ionization means, so by splitting the molecules it can produce the positive and negative ions. So it is called as a ionization. So ionization power is very much high compared to the beta rays. So beta rays penetration or ionization power is less, so compared to this alpha rays. They can affect the photographic plate. So from this we can detect the alpha rays and they are deflected by the electric and magnetic fields. Here the alpha rays are the positively charged particles, so that's why, so it can deflect by the electric field and also by the magnetic field. Here they can scattered by the nucleus of heavy elements. If a heavy nuclei is bombarded with the alpha rays, so in such cases the alpha rays get scattered or it deviates and it produces disintegrations to the heavy nucleus. The charge of the alpha particle is found to be twice that of the hydrogen ion. So alpha particle's kinetic energy, so which is varies between 4 to 10 mega electron volt. So here this is very important to know the theory of the alpha particle. Here the alpha particle kinetic energy is varies between these two values, that is a 4 to 10 mega electron volt. Now we have to study what is alpha decay. Here the process of the emission of an alpha particle from the nucleus of an atom in the disintegration process is called the alpha decay. During the alpha decay, a daughter nucleus is formed. Here, so we can observe the picture of figure of this alpha decay. This is the general expression we have, that is X, A, Z. It means that A denotes the mass number, Z denotes the atomic number. X is a parent nuclei. So it is a heavy nuclei, so which whose mass number is greater than the 200 or the atomic number is greater than the 82 are undergoes the alpha decay process. So lighter nuclei, we are not taking about the lighter nuclei. So because the in the lighter nuclei there are the equal number of protons and the equal number of neutrons and electrons. So that's why this lighter nuclei will not undergo disintegration. So that's why, so we are taking the heavy nuclei. So in that heavy nuclei, that mass number should be greater than 200, or in other words we can say if the atomic number should be greater than 82. It undergoes the alpha decay. Then the daughter element formed, it has the mass number is less by 4 units and atomic number is less by 2 units. So we can write it as A minus 4 and Z minus 2 for the daughter nucleus. And the alpha particles are produced, that is helium nuclei. Alpha particles is nothing but a helium nuclei which has the mass number 4 and atomic number 2. Here the disintegration energy, the energy which is emitted in this disintegration process, so along with the emission of the alpha particle and the daughter nucleus, this is called as a Q value or disintegration energy, or that is the energy which is liberated at the time of a disintegration is called disintegration energy. That is found to be the Q is equal to E alpha into A by A minus 4. Here we have taken the E alpha is nothing but the kinetic energy of the alpha particle, that is found to be half mv square. By knowing the mass and velocity of that alpha particle, so we can find out the kinetic energy. By knowing the kinetic energy and the mass number, easily we can calculate the Q value. And next is, what is the range of the alpha particle? Here the range means it is a distance through which the alpha particles travels in a substance. So before coming to rest, here the range is nothing but when the alpha particle ionizes the gas. When it passes through the gas, it ionizes, and that molecules are splits up into positive and negative ions. In such cases, the alpha particle, how much distance it can travel, it can passes through the gas before coming to rest. So that is known as the range of the particle. Here the distance through which the alpha particle travels in a substance before coming to rest is called the range of the particle. Here all the alpha particles have a definite range. So it is shown by the Henry Bragg. So after traveling that distance, so which is equal to its range, the alpha particles gets completely neutralized. It means that it cannot ionize the gas further and it loses its entire kinetic energy. And the range of the alpha particle depends on the initial energy with which they are emitted. Second point is the nature of the radioactive element, nature of the gas through which it passes, and the pressure of the gas through which they can pass. What is Giger law? The Giger studied the relation between the range of the alpha particle and the velocity of that emission of the alpha particle. Here the velocity of the emissions varies from 1.4 to 1.92 into 10 to the power of 7 meter per second. We already studied about that. And the range is found to be, it is very small, that is in the order of 10 to the power of minus 3 millimeter only. So it can ionize the gas. So that's why what is the relationship between the range of the alpha particle and its velocity? He found that the range of the alpha particle is directly proportional to the cube of its velocity. We can write it as R is directly proportional to V cube. That is equal to R is equal to A into V cube. A is found to be a constant and its value is found to be, that is 9.6 into 10 to the power of minus 24. So which is known as the Giger law. So this is applicable for the medium range of alpha particles. At a low range, the R is directly proportional to V to the power of 3 by 2. At the higher range, it varies, that is R is directly proportional to V to the power of 4. And what is the energy of the alpha particle? So what is the relationship between the initial energy of the particle and the velocity of the emission of the alpha particle? He found that the energy of the alpha particle is E naught and the velocity is V square. So both are directly proportional to each other. Here E naught is directly proportional to V square. Its constant value is found to be 2.08 into 10 to the power of minus 14 V square. We have to substitute for V. We will get a E naught by 2.08 into 10 to the power of minus 14 whole to the power of 1 by 2. So after we have to substitute in that range expression, that is R is equal to A into V cube. We will get V, after substituting the E naught V value, after substituting the V value, we will get R is equal to some constant E naught raised to the power of 3 by 2. The constant value is found to be 3.18 into 10 to the power of minus 3. It is a constant. We have taken this as B. All these two equations are valid for the medium range. That is, R is equal to A into V cube and R is equal to B into E naught to the power of 3 by 2. These two equations are valid only for medium range for alpha particles. For low range, R is directly proportional to E naught to the power of 3 by 4. At higher ranges, R is directly proportional to E naught square. Now what is specific ionization? The number of ion pairs produced per unit path of its travel by a alpha particle in a gas at 1 atmospheric pressure is known as specific ionization. So it depends on the distance travelled by the particle from the source, and the specific ionization, so it increases and the distance travelled by a particle from the source also increases. Here, as the alpha particles moves further away from the source, its velocity goes on decreases due to loss of energy by ionization of the atoms of the gas. This lowers the alpha particles and spends longer time at near the atoms in a gas. So that is a greater probability of the interaction of that electrons to the atom. It causes ionization. So for this reason, the alpha particles are near the ends of their paths. The specific ionization is maximum. Giger-Nuttall law, it gives a relation between the decay constant and the range of the alpha particle. Here, he found that the Giger and Nuttall, so they worked together and they found that there is a definite relationship between the range of the alpha particle and the half-life of the nucleus. And also they concluded that the nuclides with a shorter half-lives emits the alpha particles of higher energy, whereas the nuclides with a longer half-lives emits the alpha particles of low energy. Here we can see the expression, so we are not deriving the Giger-Nuttall law here, so that's why we are not concentrating about what is A and what is B. So both are a constant, but the constant value A is same for all the series and B value is different for different series. So different series means there are the 4 radioactive series that is actinium series, thorium series, that neptunium series and plutonium series. The log lambda is equal to A plus B log R. Here the lambda is nothing but that is the decay constant, and R is range of the alpha particle. Here A and B are constants. So we can plot a graph of Giger-Nuttall law that varies from that is along x-axis we have taken that is log lambda, and along y-axis it is log R. We will get a curve like this. According to this graph, so when the disintegration constant is high, the range is also high, and the range is also depends on its energy, and we conclude that the radioactive substances of the large decay value or decay constant value, it emits the high energy alpha particles. So this graph is helpful in determining the decay constant of the radioactive substance of a very short and a very long half-lives. In this session, so we have studied about the basic concept of alpha decay. In the next session, so we should study about the theory of alpha decay, how the alpha decay emits from the nucleus, and what are the characteristics of the alpha decay. So we would study in the next session. Thank you all.